In the opening scene, we see the protagonist, Isabel, a 17-year-old girl, sunbathing almost naked one afternoon, and her brother Victor comes to meet her there. Victor tells her Felix, a good-looking guy Isabel is attracted to, stopped by at home and met their mother, Sylvie. Sylvie is an overbearing mother, as she is raising Isabel on her own with her husband. Isabel asks her brother what Sylvie said about Felix, and he replies that she simply called him handsome. As they return to the house, she asks Victor not to tell Sylvie that she's seeing Felix. She claims that it would only cause Sylvie to ask irrelevant questions like who Felix is, where he is from, and what he does. And she doesn't want to answer those questions. They walk home and they have their meal. As the other members clear the table, Sylvie uses that opportunity to talk to Isabel about Felix. She asks Isabel to invite Felix for dinner, but Isabel refuses and walks away. She returns to her room and Victor sees her pleasuring herself alone. The following day, Isabel and Victor go to the beach again and Victor sees Felix. He asks Isabel to go to the water side and meet Felix, and they meet Felix with his friend. After they exchange gestures, Felix tells Isabel that they are going out that evening, and he invites Isabel to follow them. That evening, Isabel dresses up for the party with the help of Victor. She also asks Victor to distract her parents while she sneaks out, and Victor accepts that Isabel will tell him about how the party goes. Victor successfully distracts their parents and she sneaks outside the house. At the party, she sits with Felix and they share a kiss. The kiss moves to another act, and at that point, Felix asks her if that is the first time she is attempting intercourse. She admits it is her first time. He promises that she will enjoy it, but the result is quite the opposite, as Isabel doesn't enjoy it at all. She sleeps there without any expression, as Felix pleasures himself with her. It seems like a waste of sin, and she's so angry. She returns home angrily and she mistakenly sees her stepfather naked while entering the house. She enters her room and meets Victor there. Victor asks about how it went. She only tells him she slept with Felix and she sends him out of her room. The family visits the beach the next day and Felix joins them. He expects her to accommodate him, but she joins her family and goes swimming. He tells Victor that Isabel is unusual, unlike any lady he's seen before. In Isabel's defense, Victor points out that she's French, while Felix is German. The summer break ends, and it is time to return home. Silently, Isabel packs her loads, and they load their car. They drive home silently. Sometime later, Isabel dresses corporately and enters into a hotel. She finds her location, and she enters the room. She meets an older man, George. She is shocked to see how old he is. George is about 63 years old, and he asks her if she can forgive him for lying to be younger. She claims she doesn't care about it. She also lies that her name is Leah, and when he asks about her age, she claims she is 20 years old. She is there to have paid intercourse with him, and in split seconds, they get into the business and finish as soon as possible. She has her bath and he gives her the money for her service. He asks if she could meet again with him, and she reminds him that she only works late afternoon and doesn't work at weekends, so he can call her anytime he needs her service, because he has her number. She takes the subway, reads books on her way, gets home and keeps her money. That night she looks into a page where she posts her naked pictures. She returns to school where all the students read a poem about what to do at 17, and after the class she sits alone and receives another order for 300 euros. Her friend sees her on the phone and asks if she has a boyfriend. She claims she is dating a 32-year-old lawyer. They go for their break and eat. She returns home and dresses for her meeting. She takes extra clothes and lies to her mother about going to the library. She visits the man who asks her to touch herself while he pleasures. He wanks as she touches herself, and when he finishes, he goes to clean up but doesn't allow her to clean up. He pays her less than they initially agreed upon and threatens that if she shouts, he will report her to her parents. She leaves angrily and gets an offer for a private time in the car. She bills the man 500 euros, and when she gets there, she ensures she gets her money first before getting into the act. The man is seen very satisfied with his service and makes a joke about her being once a whore, always a whore. She returns home and scrubs her body. Her stepfather mistakenly enters. He apologizes and asks Sylvie why Isabel is having her bath twice a day. Sylvie claims it's a woman thing. Sylvie meets Isabel and asks her to follow them to the theater. Although Isabel isn't interested, Sylvie convinces her to go, and she reluctantly accepts. In the theater, she sees George and a young girl. She also sees her mother with another man, Peter, flirting. During the show, she receives a message from George to meet her again, and she smiles. He is the only client who treats her well, and when she meets him again, he goes down on her, and she really enjoys it. He tells her he knows she lied about her age, and asks her if she is at least legal. She lies that she is 18 years old, and then she clocked 18 last summer. He also asks about her parents. She returns home and she sees Victor checking his maturity. She sits with Victor asking about his new girlfriend that she heard Sylvie talk about. Victor isn't interested in having the conversation as she keeps asking him if he is jacking off and watching explicit content on the internet. She continues meeting her other clients and she gets paid for her services. She receives another message from George so they can meet again. When she gets there, she asks him if he's married, and he says yes. She wonders if his wife is the lady she saw him with at the theater, but she smiles and denies it. The young lady is his daughter. He admits that he hasn't been a great dad. He had left his daughter alone and she had resented him a lot, so he's trying to make up for the times he had failed. That is why he went out with her. He asks Isabel to undress and she starts writing on him. Suddenly he stops responding. Panicked, she checks him. She runs to the bathroom but falls and injures her head. She quickly dresses and returns home. Sylvie helps her treat her wound. She lies that she fell in the bathroom. The following day, the police visit Sylvie at her workplace. They show her pictures of Leah, who she knows as Isabel. They inform her of Isabel's actions, suggesting she might be a minor victim, but they need to confirm if she's working for someone. They visit her house and they see the place where Isabel keeps her money, including her private website, where she uploads her nude pictures. At school, Isabel's best friend, Claire, invites her to a party their classmate has organized, but she isn't sure about attending. Isabel returns home and Sylvie confronts her about what she has done. Disappointed, she hits her. They reconcile afterward and Isabel promises that she won't do it again. That night, Sylvie is disturbed, but her husband reassures her that Isabel's beauty naturally attracts attention from men. Sylvie gets angry about this statement, but he tries to explain that he doesn't mean all beautiful women are whores. Isabel is called to the police station to give her account of what happened. She begins with how George saw her with Claire and asks to make out with her for free. She refused at first, but he gave his number to her. She calls him back a week later and agreed. She didn't enjoy it at first. She felt disgusted and wanted to try it. She saw an advert about girls looking for money, so she bought a new SIM and phone and signed up for the website. Upon getting home, Sylvie suggests that Isabel see a therapist. Reluctantly, Isabel accepts and she goes for the first visit with Sylvie, where she offers to pay the therapist with the money she earned. Although Sylvie refuses, Isabel gets her way. Isabel goes to babysit Sylvie's friends Vero's kids, since Vero is going out with her husband Peter. When they return, Peter offers to drive Isabel home, but Vero refuses. She drives Isabel home herself, and on the way, Isabel says she knows her mother has told Vero what happened, but she isn't the dangerous one. She returns home and tries to flirt with her stepfather, but Sylvie enters. Sylvie speaks to her later, and she confronts Sylvie about her relationship with Peter, and Sylvie walks out on her. Sylvie keeps meeting with the therapist and she talks about how George treated her well. Claire gets heartbroken and she promises to follow Claire to the party. At the party, she meets a fellow student, Alex, who she shares a kiss with. Weeks later, Isabel and Alex start a relationship. She takes him home and they have intercourse, but she doesn't enjoy it. After their meal together, she tells him that she isn't in love with him, and she calls for a breakup. She takes her second SIM and reactivates it. She sees several messages and someone books her for the same hotel where she usually meets George. The person turns out to be George's wife. She meets her and the lady says she just wants to meet Isabel. She claims she doesn't blame Isabel for her husband's death because George was ill. She, however, says she is glad because George died while having intercourse. After all, it's a good death. She asks Isabel to follow her to the room, requests Isabel to lie beside her with her clothes on, and she caresses Isabel's face. In the closing scene, Isabel wakes up alone, feeling more at peace. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a like to help the channel out, also leave a comment if you'd like us to recap your favorite movie. Thanks for watching.